Alright, everyone, we are 10 minutes away from State of the Game number 159. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna sit here and play guitar for 10 minutes, and then we'll be away laughing. Hi, Grand Royal, how you doing? I will currently be taking requests for the next 9 minutes, 50 seconds. What kind of guitar? This one is one of the original Ovation Legends. That was, yeah. That was cast, one of the first plastic back ones. Before they got trash. Oh wait, okay. Someone said play some Zeppelin. I will gladly, but you have to, we're gonna play a game. Guess the song. I'm gonna see if I can play it. It's been a while. I don't really have what I need, but we'll try. How does it go? There you go. Guess the song. Guess the song. Yeah, okay, Slugged Payload wins it. Well done. Well done. The Last of Us theme tune? Sorry. I'm just noodling. Hey Lyra, how you doing? I saw the thing you did with Fox. It's insane. Real good. I'm gonna bring on Trick and Chris and we'll do a little sound check. Hi Chris. Hi Trick.
Hello.
Hi, Hamish.
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
Yeah.
This is
Pixie
good.
is trying to ascend me, which will mean I'll kick her out of the room, but if she calms down. Nope. Hello. Hello, what's up? Hi.
This is
How's
a
it
good
going?
cat.
You're missing the chat.
It'll be good cat content. Don't kick her out.
Good cat. Good cat tent. Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing?
This is alright. Good stuff. Alright.
I'm now, I've got more coffee now.
This is good. Alright, see, you seem to be coming through loud and clear. That's perfect. I'll let you guys off the hook for the next 6 minutes and then we'll be good to go. Alright, chat, we're back soon. Hello everyone, welcome to State of the Game 159. This time I didn't screw up the audio and you can hear me, which is really good. It is the 13th of May and we're still quite clearly working from home, but I've got Chris and Trick on the line. Can we come in, Trick, Chris, from a location?
Hello, do you read me?
Yes,
This is Trick, over.
we do. Fantastic. There,
Nice. That was very smooth trick.
That's
I like
it's everything that I need. I mean, it's cool that we can still do this from home. Sometimes I feel like it's, fulfilling my newsroom fantasy. If you know what I mean? Like,
But did you get to be both like the camera controller and on screen at the same time? Newsrooms don't do that.
No, I more mean that, like, like reporting live from Trick's house. Trick, can you tell us what it's like down there on, at your place? That's all.
At my place.
Yeah, at your place.
A little further east of here. Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. How's everyone doing?
Good,
It's going really well. My cat has abandoned me in time for the show.
Aw,
Yeah.
you missed the chat. Like, she was super cute.
Very cute.
Yes, I see Private Pirate saying that Trick is out of focus. We are all working on webcams. It's not going to be the most elegant solutions for everything. There's all sorts. But, we want to make sure that we bring a show to you without fail every Wednesday and talk about the things. That being said, let's go through the things that are relevant to the Division 2 right now. So you will have noticed that we did say last week on the show that 9.1 would be coming yesterday. That didn't happen. Chris, why was that?
Yeah, so I had the information of all the fixes, obviously, last week, and we were going through them. With the work from home situation, it is just the reality that we have to do some more testing and steps before we can, finalize what's going into it. On Monday, we came in and we looked at the status of the patch, and it wasn't ready. We were unsure if a couple of fixes would actually do the things that we want them to do. And as it's an important update on the client side, we didn't want to just put it out and leave some of them out. So we just needed some more time to test if they are doing everything they should be doing. And they now are, but we also found one fix, for example, that doesn't fix what we wanted it to do. So that will be something for a later update. So it's really good that we had the time to do it. I know it's a little unfortunate with Tuesday, Thursday being swapped, especially because the NPC fixes are very much needed as well. But taking a little bit more time was the right choice in this case.
Good to know. That being said, when is 9.1 coming?
Yeah, so the good news is it didn't take that long. So we are now able to deploy it tomorrow on Thursday. That is May 14th. So that will be the usual maintenance timeframe, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. CEST. I don't have the other timeframes in my head right now, but yeah. It will be coming tomorrow, basically.
Do I hear Doggo?
Yeah, she's now getting a drink, I think.
Okay, well, she might make an appearance. That's good. We talked last week with Mackenzie about the swathe of NPC changes that are coming. There are patch notes available now on the forums, correct?
Yes, if the CMs have pushed the button, the patch notes are now live. They include all of the NPC fixes and changes that Mackenzie talked about last week. They're in a nice list. And then also the bug fixes that are going in tomorrow are also in there. They should be on the forums. If anybody has a link, I'm sure either Lucipus or Real Dude can link to that real quick.
Cool. I have some bug fixes listed here. The FPS drops in the Dark Zone will have their first improvements and fixes. The friendly oxidizer damaging ally skills is also fixed. The recommended activity tab not closing, and also an issue with the frenzy talent staying active when swapping weapons. We did allude a little bit to TU10 being the next big update as well. We're not going to talk too much about that stuff right now because that's why we have Trick here, because there's some stuff that Trick can talk about for all the stuff that's coming. Before we get to talking to Trick about all that stuff, I do want to give some, well, at least what I think is very, very good news about TU10, and it is that there will be a PTS, which always makes me very happy when there's PTS. I think it makes devs happy. Trick, would that be accurate? PTS are good times?
PTS are good times. It's really nice to actually see some of the new gear get out in the wild. Because oh, I really wish that we'd had a PTS for like system corruption to make certain how people are going to use that and how that get utilized in the Dark Zone and stuff like that. And so since we have a bunch of changes to talents coming and some new gear, like just having the opportunity to be like, okay, how people use this, particularly people who are very, very good at the game.
Mm-hmm. There's a really important point, Chris. With the PTS, from a Comdev's perspective, what are you most looking forward to? What will you be looking for? How will you use what people are doing on the PTS to make TU10 as good as it can be?
Yeah, so first off, what is the PTS maybe as well? Because I know some people that might be watching don't know what it is. So it's a public test server. That means we are deploying an update that is not live on all servers to that specific server. Access to it will be as it was in the past for PC players only. So if you own the game on PC, you can join the PTS. Again, we know that console players would also like to get their hands on these things. It's a little bit more difficult with that because for a PTS for consoles to be the reality, we have to certify all of the builds that we upload. So we have to talk to Microsoft and Sony and Google and make those things happen. And it just takes more time. And the PTS are always trying to be very agile and quick testing phases. So we could have 3 days of a build, test it out, get it verified by you guys, played by you guys, and then make changes. And if we always have to wait for the verification from third parties, it's just not quick enough, and it would just delay things even more. So it is only going to be on PC, but if you have the game, you can join that server. From our point of view, from community and all that, we definitely have a couple of very good plans for the PTS. We want to make sure that this time, and we did this for the TU6 PTS as well, we want to make sure that you guys know exactly what you should be testing. So a very clear, I want to say, bucket list maybe of, first 2 days is bug fixes or bug testing. We really go in and just try if the fixes that we have deployed are working, if you find anything new, if you find anything that is broken, all that stuff. And then we'll go through, as Trick has said, if there's new gear, new talents, new whatever it is, balance changes, that will be focused as well. We do want to give you a patch notes list that is as complete as it can be. As it is a PTS, that might be not super accurate because obviously some things are just being developed right now. So we might not be able to get the perfect patch notes out there, but the goal is really to have a very, very good PTS by committee, by us doing looking at the data, but also by the community giving us feedback on, again, bugs, on balance, and all that stuff, but very focused on certain areas. So there would be probably waves, and if we can do it, we also do surveys. They were so in the past, a little bit difficult to judge because obviously some people just want to give us their opinion, which is totally fine. But if you haven't played on the PTS and then fill out a survey that is very focused on the PTS, it dilutes a little bit the feedback on what we need from PTSs. But more information on when exactly it's coming and all that stuff is going to be coming very soon.
Okay, cool. We don't have a date for the PTS and all that sort of stuff just yet. I guess in the coming weeks, Chris will be getting that out.
Yeah, it's also because obviously, as I said, like last week and the weeks before, if there is a PTS, we will likely have to, for it to be an impact, to make sure that the timelines work, right? So for a TU10 or for whatever else we want to do, what impact does that have? What do we have to move in timelines? What is the needs from the build system and all that stuff? So there's still things to be figured out before we can publicly say when everything will be happening, but it shouldn't be too long away to at least tell you some dates.
Very good.
Yeah, it's always a process to put together a PTS, just because you want to put together sort of a gift bag for players to be able to use, so that they don't have to go I'm going to spend my entire PTS time grinding to get this thing. And you're like, no, we want you to have that immediately. And so you have to do some bespoke work for any time that you're doing a PTS, and each wave of it usually. So it's just a bit.
Yeah, it is a thing. I think a lot of the work that goes into putting a PTS goes unnoticed, so I'm very excited that the dev team are putting that together because I think it's really good for the health of the game going forward, which is extremely important at any time, but especially right now. Trick, we are very excited to have you on the show today because there's been a lot of your stuff going into the game lately. Can you give us a bit of an overview of what's been going on for you?
Oh my God. So like a lot of the stuff we've been looking at is like the seasons have been going really well. They've been well received. Although like one of the funny things about putting time trials into the game as like such a featured like bit is like, oh man, every time there's a pain point or like a particular frustration of like, oh, this enemy is rude as hell. Hey, does anyone notice that like the hyena SMG dude is just a jerk?
Yeah.
And sometimes behaves very unreasonably, which I think is in one of the 9.1 fixes, is fixing a particular behavior that's really wild. Those get surfaced and become much more frustrating when you're like, ah, man, I've got to get 12 minutes to beat this mission, and this controller is sitting in the back, totally unable to be hurt, because they're just hiding. And so it's been a rough internet. But like, what's also been good is that people have really enjoyed. One of the consistent pieces of feedback is that like the season Manhunt itself, and also the discussion surrounding like Jupiter and her crew, has been really nice. Of like, oh yeah, yes, you're playing control points. They're cleaners inside of DC. Like all of that. Oh, are we the baddies? Gets asked about the division, and what's funny is like, it needs to. Like that is a question that is being asked by the existence of the rogues, and I'm really glad that conversation happens. Now, like, Keener's a genocidal psychopath, but like, it's nice to see characters who have both. No, some of Jupiter's crew are just evil bastards, and some of them you're like, oh, I
get it.
Do you have to die? Can we not fight?
Yeah. Like Thanos had some good points. Like
Thanos, yeah, I've seen that meme.
I don't know. It reminds me actually of if you are looking for things to watch during lockdown, Walking Dead got good again at season 9.
What?
Season
No.
10. I know. But it's that question, right? Are we the good guys? Actually, I don't know. I like it. That's my pick of lockdown watching, is actually give Walking Dead another shot. I know it got trash, but it's the best it's ever been. Sorry to derail you. We want to talk about what's happening in the seasons right now. So, Chris, can you give us the top level stuff? And I've got some videos, which I just
sure.
flavor.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is now that you can finish the manhunt if you want. So the 4 manhunt targets are now available. Mercury just went live yesterday, and that means if you get all of the 4 rogue agents, you also unlock the prime target, which is Jupiter, and she's also available now. And with that comes the ability to get a new skill variant, which there's a lot of discussions already ongoing about how good or how bad it is, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what people end up doing with it. It's hard to say exactly right now how it's going to fit into the meta. Takes a little time.
I really want to see how it ends up getting used inside of the meta, just because like EMP is an unspoken, really powerful status effect, both inside of PvE and PvP, because it just messes up Black Tusk. But it also, like, fighting cleaners is real tough because they have a lot of gadgets, and you can just be like, nah, everybody over there, none of you get gadgets today.
Yeah.
And it's super nice, but it's also very precise. It's fiddly to use. It's not a fire and forget. It's like, oh, I'm going to aim at a guy, I'm going to hit him, and they're going to shut up for a day. And it's choosing not to kill them with that shot, because you could be using a deadly weapon, and instead you're using all the same precision to say, nah, you don't get skills or grenades, because for some odd reason they can't throw grenades if they're, whatever, it's fun.
Yeah. Because games.
Because games.
The thing that gets me thinking is like, well, this is not the only season that we're going to have. There's obviously other variants coming down the road. I'd love to hear from the community what they either think those would be or what they would hope for. Do you have any theory crafting, Chris? I mean, we can't really ask Trick.
No, you don't ask me to theory craft.
It'll give some credence to exactly what those are. Someone saying revive Sticky. Oof. Bring back Smart Cover. Please do not bring back Smart Cover.
I only heard bad things about Smart Cover, so that's out. I'm not gonna provide that feedback to the devs.
Mobile cover.
I think for
Mobile
us,
cover.
like the community team, the CMs and Johan and I have been reading a lot about seasons and what people like and what people don't like. We, for example, also look at the ratio of like things you can do solo and things that don't work so well solo. I think that's one of the bigger feedback points that we posted and forwarded. And then I know, for example, Trick and I've been in several chats about the progression of like certain events and global events, for example, where it's like if I play in a group, what advances and what doesn't advance. I think that's something that we learned a lot as well from, where some of the things should have advanced and they didn't, and now we know exactly what we can do better for the next season or for the next seasons going forward. I think that's big.
The general philosophy of the things that should advance in a group is like a kill is always going to be competitive if those aren't shared. But like a headshot or breaking a weak point, even though those are technically like you eliminated that weak point, but it's a little different because it's harder. Like those things should be personal. And a lot of like we essentially found a combination of times when we were inconsistent and times when there were a lot of situations where the sharing didn't work when it was expected to work. So what's nice is in future seasons those will be updated. We're solving them for a little bit for Guardians, but some of the Guardians ones are also going to still be a little inconsistent because they take a lot of tracking down when we do a lot of different things in co-op, and sometimes they get a little silly.
Yeah. No, the thing I do want to get to is I haven't had a chance to play it myself, but hunting down Jupiter, I mean, it's not a spoiler beyond what was shown in the UI, but you'll go back to Roosevelt, correct?
Yes. So Roosevelt Island has its new, it has a new mission on it. So you've still got the same basic geometry of Roosevelt Island. It's got the same shape and a lot of the same wreckage of, in fact, actually, the wreckage of your fight against Black Tusk is all still there, and that plays an important part in the storyline. You get to find out essentially what it is Jupiter talks about inside of her collectibles, like what it is that she's after, but she's always very oblique about it. Like she doesn't go directly at it. Now you get to see the sort of two things that both the cleaners are after, like what it is that's motivating them to be a part of this, and specifically what Jupiter wants, and get to have like a big ol' showdown with her. There's a new bespoke mechanic inside of it that is like a new variation on how to relate to EMPs. Okay. I think it's a little rough on solo players, having played it. Like I actually am like, oh, this is a little tough. But it is new and it's fresh, and it's not just the freshness of seeing a different group that uses flamethrowers inside of that same space, but rather cleaners are a different relationship with those big open areas than other enemies are, especially with that EMP device in the mix.
Okay, that's spoiler free, and I appreciate that.
Was it?
I mean, yeah. I think so. Like, I mean,
okay.
It's not completely spoiled. Let's put it that way. I like it.
Yeah.
Have both of you been able to...
of questions on the mission itself, and I think we can talk about that real quick. So you can replay the mission, as far as I know. There should be nothing that should stop you from doing that.
Yeah, you can toggle it back on like you do an Invasion. So just go hover the mission and hold the Y button. I play with a controller, or whatever button it is on your console of choice.
And then the second thing, and I know that Trick is also in that conversation about, will that mission be available after the season ends, and how is that maybe tying in with the skill variant, and how that could work and could not work, or whatever it might be.
So it is available next season. I'd like everyone to meet Pixie. Hello. It is available next season, but it will become available when players have progressed a certain distance down the season level tree, and then it becomes level tree. It's a line. When you've gained enough season levels, it becomes permanently unlocked, and anyone who has permanently unlocked it can get a hold of the skill from it. The intent is to carry that forward into future seasons, so it's just kind of like, oh, here's the legacy mission. We'll see how that develops, but next season, that's definitely how you get a hold of the season 1 target mission and the skill.
Cool. Yeah. And I'm also seeing the question on Mixer here, when the season ends. So the date should be June 1st, that is shown in-game, which is the last day where you can get all of the things that are season 1 related.
Yes. I would have to double check the date, but June 1st sounds very much like the thing I've been doing this week.
Right. What does that mean for a season 2 date, Chris?
Yeah, so this is what I meant earlier with the PTS. I think we all obviously want season 2 to start as soon as possible after season 1 ends, so that there's not too much of a lull. But we've also heard feedback loud and clear. We want to have a good patch. We want to have a healthy patch. We want to have as little problems or as few problems as possible. And I think that's a goal that we have to focus on now. What that means exactly for when season 2 comes out, I can't tell yet because I don't have a glass ball that gives me the future. But if everything goes well, it shouldn't be too late after season 1 ends. And of course, we'll have more information once we have that settled and we know exactly what we can do and what we can't do. I do want to say that if the PTS goes super well, that will have an impact. And if this PTS goes super terrible and there's super many bugs in there and we have to do a lot of things, then we will not just push out the update. We will then make the adjustments and make changes. So again, we want this PTS to be very, very, very impactful. So that might also have an impact on future content.
I see a question here in chat that I quite like. Rogue Gaming UK is asking, will you guys make skill variants unlock across all characters in later seasons if you have it unlocked at least once? What's happening with skill variant sharing across characters?
They were supposed to. I don't remember how actually we handled that, because it can be strange because you can't start a fresh character with them. I don't remember which solution we came to for that. I would have to double check, but I know that the intent was to let you have them across characters, especially since they don't really go away. Like as far as the opportunity to get them, because you can reacquire them later in later seasons. But I'd have to double check because I know that we did some work on that, and I can't remember what solution we got to, making me the best content expert to ever do an interview with.
No, it's good. I think it's good to know, where we're at with it. At least the intent. Maybe it's not working as intended, but we'll chase that up and let you know.
Yeah, because I would like it if any of your post-New York characters had it. I wouldn't like them to be sitting there waiting for you when you liberate the White House at the start of the game. That'd be a little weird. But I actually don't know when the alternate characters get it. It might be just individual right now, which is not ideal. Although season progress is account wide, so it'd be simple to reacquire them.
Cool.
Although the manhunt might be character specific. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. No, we'll chase that up and try and get some clearer information on that. Trek, what else do you want to share with the community while we're here? I'm just glad to have you on the line. Anything else we can get from you today?
I loved Reanimated. I really enjoyed that event. I liked it because my wife would come by and just be like, "Oh, that headshot effect's good. Does it do that all the time?" No, it does not do that all the time.
No, that's, might get a bit old.
I was stupidly fond of it. I wish that there were more excuses to leave it on, and or other like generally with the global events. I've been like, oh man, I wish that there were a way to. Okay, well, this will be fun. I'll say Kenley College. I wish there were a way to put it on in Kenley College. I wish there were a way to just, I'm going to spend blah credits and turn it on for a mission, because it's really weird that they go away and they don't have an incentive once you've completed the challenges to just keep hitting them.
Yeah.
And my lips are chapped.
The other thing that I wanted to get to today, people may have noticed about the seasonal skips, and if people are trying to catch up or, think they don't have enough time to get to whatever level they're trying to get to. Chris, can you give us a bit of insight into what those are about?
Yeah, so we were pretty transparent with the monetization for the season 1. Excuse me. And season skips were one things that we wanted to introduce as early as we can in terms of letting players know that they will be coming. So they are now available in the in-game store. No, sorry, they will be available in the in-game store tomorrow. That was the change with 2.9.1. So from tomorrow on, you'll be able to buy a season level or multiple season levels if you want to buy that. One level will be 100 premium credits, and you can buy that in the season UI as well. Again, this is optional, and you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But as you said, Hamish, it's a way to catch up on things. Or if you're like, 2 levels from the Coyote Mask or something, and you really don't want to grind that out, you can spend the money if you want to. I want to mention that this is also the way forward, so that will likely be in season 2 as well. One thing that changes, and I just want to mention it here now as well, that in season 2 there will also be a season pass, and in that case, that season pass will be paid as well. So you'll have seasonal skips, and you'll have the premium pass that is called season pass that will be monetized in the seasons going forward.
Cool. No, I think that's important to share. We did talk about this long before the seasons even started. So when we get to season 2, we'll make sure that we do a refresher on that as well, so people understand exactly what to expect for season 2, because it is slightly different from season 1 and that,
exactly,
which we talked about before season 1 if you started. Chris, anything else we need to get to today before we move on? I would like to kind of just go back to the PTS stuff just quickly, because I think that's really important, and the next kind of big thing after tomorrow on the horizon. What can people do to either get involved, find out more, etc.?
So there's a question on Mix as well, like on how many raids we are planned, and if Trick can answer that. Trick has not done raids, if I'm not mistaken. That's been on C, our partner studio in France. So the second raid, because it's been a topic, and I want to just mention that as well, is still planned to go out in the timeline that we mentioned before, so spring. We, again, will give you enough heads up to be active in the game if you want to participate in the raid. So I want to say at least 2 weeks before it comes. We don't have an exact date. Again, the PTS will also affect that. I just want to put that out there because, feedback was the last time when we had Operation Dark Hours come out that a huge balance pass just before the raid wasn't very popular, because you had to relearn a lot and reacquire builds and all that stuff. So that wasn't really fun for some players, and we want to avoid that, and we can now with the PTS. Again, when we have news, when we are certain that it will be coming at this specific date, we will let you know. On the PTS side itself, so again, TU10 is the next big title update, the next big patch. We will have a PTS, a public test server for that on the PC platform. And the plan is to have really focused testing on the balance and the bug fixes and all that stuff. That will likely also mean that the raid will not be on there. So just as a heads up, if it changes, we'll let you know. But we think it's going to be more fun if people can experience it when it's live on all platforms at the same time.
We don't want anybody getting a preview of the raid mechanics and solving it and all that stuff. The fun of it is that race to world's first, and that kind of gets defeated if it's on PTS.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the big one, right? So the PTS is going to be the next big hit. I don't know if we can talk about dates next week already. As I said, it's going to be dependent on how quickly we can drum up the build and all that stuff, and also give you information of what's in it, right? It doesn't help if the devs are actually performing magic tricks and get that thing ready, and we don't have anything to tell you. There's going to be PTS with changes. Who knows? So keep a little bit of your patience left for us. But when we have something more, we'll let you know next week.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll be looking at chat for questions and that sort of stuff while we're sticking around for a few more minutes, but I want to go through a couple of agent highlights for the week. A returning one, which I very, very like. The username OfferInIdia is very familiar over the past few weeks because they've been creating some really cool modeling clay stuff, but this one is, I've been trying to wrap my head around how this eagle bearer has been made. It's insane. I want one. I don't know what else to say. It's very cool. Crazy detail. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of this is 3D printed.
I saw on their Twitter that they had 3D printing images. So some of it's been 3D printed, but I want to know that central part, the part that you put your hand on that looks like a gun part. How much of that is fabricated? Does it meet up with a actual market material? I've got so many questions about how this thing was made. Yeah,
I saw on the Twitter, which if you are interested in going, is up in the upper right-hand corner there. There's a base model, a product that they've built this on top of, but it's flawless. It's super cool. Insane. I want to move on to our next one for the week. But Elwood, wait, I went to the wrong one. It's coming. Here it is. Elwood, digital painting extraordinaire, is looking sick. Actually, Trick, you were saying before that a lot of people kind of, photo bash these things together. It doesn't look like that's what's happened here.
Yeah, I loved watching the Valhalla announcement stream for Assassin's Creed, because it was just like, this is how people make concept art. This is like how it is done, and they're just grabbing the materials and slapping them on there. But this is like painterly, and I love it.
Beautiful.
I love the reflection in his. I'm pointing at where my screen is. In the goggles on the gas mask, like
the details,
so good.
Insane, super cool, beautiful color theory and everything. It's Charles, yeah, you've outdone yourself. Very cool.
To me, it's also like a throwback to like the Ghostbuster movie. Like the stream of fire looks a little bit like the Canon stream. It looks really cool.
It does look like a proton accelerator. It sure does. Proton pack. That's what those are.
Don't cross the beams.
Really cool. Wait, Trick, do you know if we're hiring any concept artists? Charles,
I mean, probably. There's a link in the chat right now.
Yeah, no, go. I'm not it. I was kind of like not joking, but like we do have job positions available on massive.se/career singular, I think, or careers. Maybe they fixed it. But if you go to massive.se and have a look, there's job listings there. I 100% recommend moving to Sweden. Trick.
I love it here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a Texan who's very happy in Sweden.
There you go. And we I just think it's worth it. Yeah, Destiny. See, I know there are people who are looking for work right now, and maybe Massive could be your new home. So
I've seen a couple more questions on the game, so just gonna go through them here. So the Delta issues on Asia servers, it's not specific to Asia servers, it's also some other regions. We're looking into these. So TU 9.1 will have more back-end fixes going out that will hopefully have an impact. Again, this is an issue that is very, very different from anything we've seen so far. And we actually had to add more tracking to find out what's happening. This is an ongoing process. It's also in the ticker. So we're looking into that, and we're trying to fix that as soon as we can. We also see comments about the targeted loot being wonky or weird or changing after you, for example, finish a mission. We're looking into that as well. That should not be the case. Targeted loot should change once a day, and that's it. It shouldn't be any different targeted loot on different areas or regions or whatever. Like, that's not the case. In terms of new content, in terms of new content, again, Season 2 and TU10 and what all that entails, we'll talk about when we are closer to revealing those things, in terms of like when it's ready, and when we're happy to have also some visuals, because I think having me talk about it gets kind of boring as well. And I think that's it from what I can see. Again, PvP also may be something that is being brought up as we talked about in the past when Bruce was on here and when Mackenzie was on here. Some of the TU 9.1 changes tomorrow will affect PvP. So, for example, the status effects will have PvP results, so it will change PvP things as well. And then with TU10, when there's a holistic look at the balance, that will also affect PvP. If there's anything else, we will let you know as soon as we have it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the effects on PvP tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah,
could be big, could be nothing. I don't know. I'm just interested to see what happens. Okay, that's all I've got for today. I see some people who are kind of lolling about like jobs. Like it dead serious. If you're interested in a job in Massive, go to the website. We don't give jobs based on Twitch chat, but if you are interested in getting a job, apply for a job. You never know. Worth it. There you go. Thanks, Felis, for posting the link.
It's very fun.
Yeah. All right.
It's a really rough time right now, and like, it's cool that this is like a video game where it's an action adventure video game, but it's also like, we make a product we care a lot about, and we want other people who care about it to take part in that. And also, we all need to help each other because it's a real rough time right now. So take a look if you are someone who has skills that are useful to a game development studio, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. I also think people just don't undersell yourself. People often think, I think game developers are all programmers. That's not the case. You may have skills that apply to a job you'd never thought about before. So go and take a look.
Two
all right.
more things before we close it off, because I've seen like discussions a lot around loot, and people have been probably missing a couple of the state of the games in the last couple of weeks. So TU10 is where we also look at loot quality and generosity and all that stuff. Again, we don't have any concrete changes ready to talk about yet. Otherwise, it would have not been Trick, but somebody else maybe. Once we have that, we'll talk about it again. As I spoiled it a little bit, Nikki has been working on some of the topics that have been brought up quite frequently, like container loot and how that's purple and all that stuff. So we will have more details on that when it's ready. And then the second thing that I saw is like crossplay, because it's on Stadia now. That is not something that will likely be happening for the consoles anytime soon. The game wasn't made with crossplay in mind, so the efforts to make that happen would be quite big. I think we mentioned that previously as well, but I see it come up every now and again, so I just wanted to mention that as well.
Perfect. All right, that's I think going to wrap it up for today. If you want updates about what's happening in The Division, go to twitter.com/thedivisiongame. TU 9.1 comes out tomorrow. Things are coming thick and fast. Make sure you tell us how you're enjoying TU 9.1, because I think it's going to be very interesting. There's a lot in there, and it's for a 0.1 kind of thing, probably undersold, because I think a lot. I mean, if you tune into the stream last week, Mackenzie rattled off like change after change. So
it's weird how subtle a lot of those are too. It's just like, oh, you're going to get yourself inside of a firefight that you think always goes south, and be like, oh, this is going different. Yeah. And it's hard to point at those and be like, oh, I'm glad Mackenzie like listed them all off. But when they all clockwork machine together, it's a lot.
Yep, exactly. No, so I'm going to get stuck into it tomorrow myself. I actually saved the Manhunt stuff for tomorrow so I can play it with all the new changes.
My Mercury fight was so good. It was such a good fight. I pulled two different resource convoys together and was just like, that's it. We are pincer moving you to death. It was so good.
Nice. Did you stream it?
I did not. I wish I'd clipped it, because it was such a good, like, desperate running down to our last bullet, both of us throwing skills at each other, like, bullshit. It was so good.
Yes. That's what we like to hear. All right, that's going to be all for today. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I guess we'll see you all next week. And
thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. All right.
Stay safe.
Yes, please do that. I realize I don't have the outro set up, so if you could just pad for a second, Chris, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. We can pad a lot. So.
We could do chat of the game. This is my favorite my favorite segment from Tinks's podcast from Bombshell Jackets. My favorite chat of the game was Hamish has the most punchable face I've ever seen. If you could specifically tell me why my face is extremely punchable, it would be much appreciated.
The things people say on the internet.
That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to find it.
But yeah, like if I'm padding, wash your hands, do social distancing. If you can, wear a mask. Keep other people safe. It's really
important. Green vegetables.
Yeah, don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow. Get some sun. Figure it out somehow.
Drink water. Stay hydrated.
All great advice. I found the outro. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.